She likes it wild, wild, wild. She is Raylee, and she has won semi-final one of Melodi Grand Prix 2020. Porg, should we talk about it?
Let's do this.
Oh my goodness, let me just kick this off, Porg in Ireland, by saying that Raylee was fire fuego. She had my love on replay. She was a soldier of love like Bella Santiago, okay? This was so good, so upbeat. When I think of Norway, I think of chilly weather. She melted all of that ice. With her visuals, it opens up with the sunshine, a tigress in the African savannah, stalking her way before a rising sun. It looked very Miss Saigon. If you've seen the billboard, shout out to my mom. Hey, that was a tragedy, but this is a happy story because Raylee is on point. This song is ready for the final. This song deserved to make the final. This was the best overall package. It's quirky, it's different. You don't hear songs like this. Yet some people might say it's a generic dance number. No. This has some kind of tribal influence, some kind of Latina influence. There's a lot going on here, and it doesn't have a traditional structure. I was worried she wouldn't be able to sing this live. She killed it live, and she danced, and throughout the performance, it changed. It was dynamic. At the end, when I thought it was going to get boring, they formed a Congo line and started kicking. I'm dead. I'm done. Raylee is queen, all hail.
Yeah, there's not much more I can add that except for the fact that the right song, the right artist, the right staging, the right package as a whole went through to the final. Because all the other songs, there was no turbo song tonight, but all the other ones were a bit lacking. They were a bit lackluster. There was nothing, a moment where you'd just go, wow. And the thing is that people are saying, oh, it's like Fuego. Oh, it's like Rita. Oh, it's like Bella Santiago. Firstly, Eleni Ferreira did not invent that genre. No. It's been going for years and years and years. Yes. And people, they like to pick on the favorites and say that that's a copy of this and that's a copy of that. But if we look at it tonight, Lisa's song could have been Isa from Melfest 2015. The other song that Raylee beat in her duel could have been a James Bond song, and the other song was something like Oscar Zia, Human. And so every song you can pick similarities, but Raylee was the slickest, the most professional. She was the one that was final ready. Yeah. And just from the opening moment, the very opening shot, just with the orange and the shadow, that was the moment I was like, this final has started, because the rest of them were warm-up acts, really.
That is a really good way to put it. When she drew that she was going to be in the second duel, I was like, our girl's going to win it. I just had a feeling she would be a showstopper, show closer. This could do well at Eurovision as is. They're just in a small TV studio, I believe, H3 Arena, or a part of that. Imagine what they're going to do on a mega stage. Imagine what they could do with the technology at Eurovision. This blows my mind. I just, honestly, I'm lost for words, and all I do all day is talk. She absolutely slays. There were some people who were like, wah, wah, before the live performance, but now they're like, oh, whoa. I feel like a lot of people have been won over by her. Now, in terms of the duels, let's back it up to Lisa v. Geirmund. I thought Geirmund sounded better. I thought he had a better stage show, and I thought he should have gone through. That's no shade against her. That is no shade. She was cute. She was bouncy. I think she had some vocal issues. She clearly has a massive following in Norway. I think most of the audience in the actual studio was for her. But she did advance, and I can see why it's a likable song. I just thought Geirmund had something very artistic about him, and he was vocally on point.
I definitely thought that of the two duels, this was the tighter one, that I wouldn't have been surprised to see either act progress. But apparently Lisa has a little bit of a name for her in Norway. Apparently, the Boruds are a bit like the Kardashians or something. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're famous for some reason. And she was Alexander Rybak's backing singer, and I think they mentioned that during the show because there was clips of him just in her VT, so that might have helped sway the sway. And she does go for that demographic of young teenage girls that are prone to vote in these kind of things. So I'm like not surprised that she got through. It wasn't a crime, because while maybe the guy had a better song and delivered it better, was more emotional, he wasn't leagues ahead of Lisa.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody was outraged when Lisa got through.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, and that shows what a good competition this is that there's no massive weak link. I feel like the quality here is just unreal. And so this is semifinal 1. Imagine what semifinal 3, 4 are going to deliver. I can't wait. In the other duel, this was a bit more clear cut. Not because of talent, but because I think of the appropriateness of a song to a song contest. The modern form of Eurovision isn't necessarily geared towards musical theater. And this was the Rainbow. I'm talking about Kim. It was a bit old school, you know, the song. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It has its audience. It's great for diversity. But I just feel like, not that he was filler, because he was not filler, but he represented a bit of musical diversity that struggles, perhaps, in these types of shows. He sang about that rainbow real good. I'd love to see him on the West End, singing about a rainbow, a tree, whatever. But when that tigress entered the arena, I knew it was game over. No rainbow can fight with the Tiger Queen.
Well, the closest that came to being a tigress was that it was kind of like Cats and musical theatre, and that's the big flop of the moment. And he wasn't going anywhere. When you looked at all the 4 songs, I didn't notice it so much when I listened to them on the studio version before the show. But when you looked at it live, his staging was not up there with the rest of them. The song was just so dated. It could have been a James Bond song 40 years ago. He didn't do much. He was just kind of standing there. He had kind of a bit of a sparkle in his jacket. And I'm sure he's a nice guy, and maybe he can come back another year with a better song that's more modern. But like this nearly, like, it reminded me of Iceland's song from 2018 with Ari Olafsson. That was just, It was just so sickly sweet and dated, and it doesn't belong in this decade. We're just entered the 2020s. It's not 1920s, it's the 2020s.
You know, it's sad because I really liked the studio cut. Actually, I thought they were all quality, but the transition to the stage, I think, because exactly as you said, the staging on this one wasn't as strong as the others, and so it made the performance feel weaker. Where I do think it's a decent song. I think it's well written. I think he's got a great voice. So no shade to him. I hope to see him back. I hope to see him back again soon in a different guise. And you know, we did of course hear from Sondre with the song "Take My Time." Was that it? He is a pre-qualified artist going direct to the final. Take my time with you. You know what? The Tigress would have eaten him too. I think if any, in terms of deserving to go to the final, I think perhaps Wild would be the obvious one. But perhaps there's strategy here. Perhaps producers want certain songs to become earworms, and it's an advantage to be out already so that people can be looping your song on Spotify starting now, whereas the pre-qualified artist, I don't know if the fact that they're not in the competition makes them less high profile at this point in the game.
Yeah, like, I have to question really why they have this whole idea with the pre-qualified act. It's kind of making it unnecessarily complicated. They could just have 5 songs in a semi, send 2 direct to the final, and eliminate all these unnecessary duels and slice half an hour off the show. I think the show wouldn't be any the worse off. And I think Sondre would still have made the final, because I think Wild probably had the edge, but Sondre's staging and his song was that bit above the rest of the songs. I think maybe the disconnect is that people were saying, like they were comparing it to a cross between The Weeknd and Benjamin and Grosso, and kind of...
I heard Robin Benjamin at one point.
Well, whoever you like to say, but the thing about Benjamin and Grosso was he made a great Spotify track, but then when it came to the competition at Eurovision, while he was really slick, he didn't connect with the public. And at the end of the day, you want a song that's more than a Spotify track. You need a song that will motivate people to get up and pick up their phones. And I think Raylee has that. Sandri probably would have had it to make it to the final, but I don't see what's so special about him for him to go straight without having to go through all this rigmarole.
Yeah, I guess there are two things that could be potential, explanations. One is that producers of these big shows have to do a lot of... They have to deal with record labels and artists, and perhaps some artists would refuse to enter a competition unless they were guaranteed a spot in the final. I'm not saying him per se, but like Tone Donnelly is a megastar, right? Would she really want to compete in a semi-final if she may be eliminated? Hell to the no. So I think there is a degree of like bargaining, and maybe some artists are so high profile domestically that they have that as kind of a rule. Or maybe producers wanted to ensure a certain type of musical diversity. They wanted a song from a specific genre for the final to make sure the running order would be a certain way. Maybe they had premonitions or a hunch about who might go through. There's so many different variables on the table. I just know Mr. Stig Carlson, HOD, is a smart man. He knows what he's doing. And clearly the fruit of all this is paying off, because that was a great show. We watch a lot of these national selections, a lot of them, on a Saturday. We could be doing something else. No, we do it because we love them. But I didn't get bored with this one. I was actually with it from the beginning to the end. And I think it's great when you just have 4 to 5 artists, you can focus more. It's like 7 in Melodi Festival, and I see why they went from 8 to 7, because it can drag on a bit even if it's quality. So yeah, I'm very positive about Norway's Melodi Grand Prix 2020.
Even though they had 5 songs stretched over an hour long, it didn't drag at all. It wasn't. I remember the recently deceased Destination Eurovision. That used to go on for hours and hours and hours, and they had maybe 8 songs, and then they'd have half an hour in between each song or something. So this, on the other hand, it was pacey. It was pacey. It was snappy. It got the job done.
Yes.
And it was very entertaining. And the staging, they had pyro and everything, and this is only a pre-qualifying round.
Oh, the Rainbow had some pyro. That was the thing. There was a nice moment. The Rainbow, yes, they were throwing that golden shower. In any case, that's what we think. What do you think? Was Raylee's Wild your winner? Do you think she would have beaten Sandri if he had to compete for his spot in the final? Does she sound like a potential MGP 2020 winner to you? Let us know here on wiwibloggs.
And make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so that you don't miss a thing.
And we will see you later. Bye!
Bye!